When you don't know where to go to, why don't you go where faction sits? Now the Ritz. Different types of where.
Buongiorno amici, ciao a tutti, sono BC, and welcome back to another episode on the Diamond Society. Ooh, sounds like I got my morning voice on, so, but I indeed do. It's early in the morning, and today is a day that I'm actually flying out to head to Minecon, but not for you, right? So you're probably seeing this the next day. So by the time you're seeing this, I've already arrived in Las Vegas and hopefully won $100 billion. And then when I see you all at Minecon, we're going to go out and celebrate. So wish me luck, I guess. But anyway, we are now on a new server. We had to change servers just because it was kind of that time of year to kind of migrate over to another server. Still same provider using Cubed Host, not a sponsor. But yeah, we needed to die. We needed to move over, and so we cut over, and man, just having some serious issues just with latency and lag, but I think it's all kind of working out. And oh man, I don't want to spoil anything. There's something over here that I know that this individual has not released anything about it, so I'm just going to keep my head down, and we're going to look at the street. And yeah, okay. So anyway, been trying to gather resources. I've been gathering a ton of resources, lots of sheep, lots of wood, and man, it's just been. I'll tell you what, I still loathe cutting down acacia trees, but I was really in a dire need for bone blocks, and I happened to be caving around right here near spawn, and I found this. Now this wasn't made. I made this, but look at this. This is awesome, and it looks like, yeah. My good old buddy Ajax Buford's down here AFK because he's being a good sport and helping the server out because he's a good guy. Good guy Ajax. That's what we like to call him around here. But check this out, man. Can I see it? Oh yeah, skeleton spawner. So this is a pretty good setup. I've never made a setup like this before, but the skeletons are spawning, and this is only like 5 blocks above bedrock, so we really didn't have a lot of room to work with here. So what's happening is they're spawning, and then they're drifting in water straight under here, okay? And then they're going up this water elevator tunnel, and they're going up about 32 blocks, maybe 28, 30 blocks. And then they're falling back down through a chute right here. So they go up, they transfer over about 2 or 3 blocks, and then they fall. Now, sometimes you get guys that are spawning with armor. And the first time I was AFK here for a few hours, I had a ton of dudes built up inside here with armor, and that's why I made this little area to come up here and just whack their feet. And then I got this idea that now that we have collision with mobs, maybe I could use that to my advantage. So I did, right? I put these little lava blocks in the corners of our drop pit. And so when there's a survivor down here in like usually full gold armor or something like that, the next guy that hits will collide with him and cause him to kind of squirt out a little to the side. And usually they'll get caught right in that lava and instantly die because they're basically like a one-hit kill anyway. So yeah, these cubes of lava are here. They won't touch anybody that's automatically dropping, but because of collision, it'll help get rid of guys that survive the fall because of armor. So, oh gosh, what's happening with your head? Well, good job, dude. Keep up the good work. But look at this, man. Arrows. Now I've sorted the arrows personally, but look at this though. Holy cow! Lots and lots of bones. And I've already like taken out, I think a double chest, maybe more, of worth of bone blocks. So, man, it's been productive. But we're gonna need lots of bone blocks for what we're doing for Stark Tower because, whew, this project is awesome. This project is actually incredible, and the materials that I'm using, we're gonna need a lot of it because this is a tall tower. And so let's talk a little bit about Stark Tower. And let me also once again preface And I want to talk directly to you, bud. GameSpace, in no way, shape, or form is my building of this tower any way or any nothing I'm gonna say, nothing I'm gonna do is any kind of knock on your abilities or talent or your product or what you built. Nothing of that sort. Not at all. So nobody take it that way. None of it is meant to be that way. But I know how people like to hear what they want to hear sometimes, and please don't be hearing that because that is not it at all. So gotta keep my head down again. As you can see, I got a lot of sheep over here with light gray wool. So light gray, light gray. I got some white, but that's just leftover. Lots of spruce wood. Meat. We're not using meat. Acacia, I'm still going to need way more than that. And bone blocks, we already got a pretty good start of bone blocks. So that is good and fine and dandy. Let's take a sleep. But, oh, I got an arrow in me. So here's the thing. If you do a Google search and you look for Stark Tower, you're going to see basically like only a couple things. Like if I literally put in Stark Tower, I could put Stark Tower 360-degree view. I could put Stark Tower Avengers. I could put all kinds of. In fact, if you just put Stark Tower, you're gonna get a bunch of sub requests telling you, do you want Avengers Stark Tower? Do you want Iron Man Stark Tower? Like it's gonna ask you to specify. But regardless, if you do a Google search for Stark Tower, this is the image that you most commonly see. And it's an image right here of like the top of the Stark Tower, kind of from a profile side, showing the word Stark, and that's great. That's a pretty informative image. And if you keep looking around, you're going to find a couple other images, but it's always the same side. It's always the Stark Tower side. And in fact, you're going to find a lot of Minecraft images, and I'll show kind of some of those right there. But you could see like a lot of the Minecraft images that you're going to see are very similar. And I think they all kind of have the same like foundation, the same basis for the way they were created. Like maybe once upon a time, one person made a model of Stark Tower, which I actually found a Planet Minecraft featurette on it, which if I can remember, I'll put that in the description, and a world download. So. And for me, I downloaded it just to kind of see like what is this person doing, like what is it, and then by looking at that world download, it kind of helped me kind of look at all the other builds that I found that said, wow, maybe this is patient zero for Stark Tower, like maybe this is the one that everybody's kind of looked at and tried to emulate as the standard for Stark Tower. So now back to our build. So here is the exact, more or less the exact. I may have taken a little bit of change with the front glass face here, but this is the layout of the GameSpace's Stark Tower. Okay, I've just turned it 90 degrees like we talked about, and of course now the road is pushed in, and we'll do something to make this a little less weird. Maybe we'll move the traffic circle completely over. And just kind of make everything a little more harmonious. I think that'll work. That's not too much work to do that, so I think I'll probably do that. But yeah, here's Stark Tower. This is the way it was built by the GameSpace. Now, I was getting frustrated because I was looking online, and you know what? Let me do this. I'm going to sit here. I'm actually going to bring up a live copy of my desktop, and let's look at some stuff together. All right, so here we are on my desktop, and yeah, so let's take a look at what I find. Well, let's take a look first at like the GameSpace's build, and this is not his exact build, but this is something that is probably the closest that I could find to it. So here are the stripes that we see. That were used, and I specifically want to focus on this side of the building, which this is the Stark Tower side. When I say Stark Tower side, I mean this is the side that has the Stark Tower logo. Is this? Okay, so if we look over here, you can see these stripes, right? So you got the up and down, the vertical stripes on the building that go all the way around, and that's what we see on every single build of Stark Tower. And we see these horizontal stripes over here, and we see that on every single build of Stark Tower. Now, the one thing that we don't necessarily see from time to time is the correct proportion of these horizontal stripes. And but I want to point out something about these horizontal stripes that, in fact, there are no horizontal stripes on Stark Tower. And we'll get to that. And I want to show you guys some cool stuff. So this area, note here that you have glass that's curving around this front face, and then it's concave. So convex, concave, and then it just kind of flattens out and goes into the rest of the tower. Okay. Now I want to particularly spend some time looking at this area right here, and think about how this just kind of flattens out and goes right into the tower. This area is convex, and it kind of loops around and goes back into the tower. Here we got another side of the tower, the back view, and here on the back we got stripes going up and down. We got some windows in the back. Yeah, so we got some stripes going up and down. So this whole striped pattern just kind of wraps around the back of the Stark Tower, and yeah. All right, and that is just kind of a look at our glass view, like the shape that we're looking for. So now I want to tell you that again, it's almost impossible to find pictures of Stark Tower on the internet. I mean, it's really, really, really difficult. And so I had to do a lot of digging. Wait, whoop, I'm getting in the wrong folder here. Sorry, I'm kind of navigating while we're talking. But I did a lot of digging. And I'll tell you what, eventually I finally found a picture of the back of the Stark Tower. And the results actually surprised me. All right, so let me just show you kind of some of the examples of what I'm talking about. If I look in this folder here right now, I've got a couple things separated. We'll get to these images in a second, but this is what you find on the internet. So you're going to find a series of images, and the most popular is, no, gosh, that's giving away too much. Okay, this is a pretty popular image. You're going to see this one. I don't know why it says Minecraft on the top, but this is what you're going to see. Now, but usually you're only going to catch like the top piece, like this piece right here. But pay close attention to what I'm about to tell you. Look at this piece right here. All these windows. This is office space. These are those horizontal lines that are depicted almost in every single Minecraft build. The dark being the glass and the light being the thing, but this is actual like office space type windows. And I thought, wow, that's actually kind of an extraordinary revelation. I mean, and it's also set back and not necessarily set forward into the build. So this is something that is going to be very, very different in the way that we're going to build it, is with all this office space here. Now, the more I dug around, okay, so all I could find is this view right here. But I started digging around some more and some more and some more, and eventually I finally found a picture of the back of Stark Tower, and it was mind-blowing. Look at that. Here's the back of Stark Tower. Look, these stripes don't come all the way down. It's actually another open back with more glass windows in the back. And I thought, oh my gosh, that's incredible. Like, I didn't even know that that's how it was, because every build I ever see, the stripes go all the way down to the ground. So this here was kind of game changing. If you look, it's almost like there's a surface here, and then it like actually comes outward here. So it probably comes outward here. So it's probably more like a three-sided indentation, and then this flares out almost like a cape, I guess, draped across the back of Stark Tower. So that is actually a very interesting piece of information. So let's see, can we get some more detailed pictures of that? And here, I don't know if I think this is some artist rendition, but this also shows that same flare out that we could kind of see in the last picture. This kind of drapes down as a cape, and then again we have office building glass. Now these are a little bit different. Like this and this are the same as far as materials and structure, but this is going to be different. So we're going to have to take that into account. Now, the more and more I dug around, So this is what I found on the internet. And the one thing that I just could not seem to find, let's see, is this, all right, we'll go back to this image here. I think, yeah, this is the same one. So you can search the internet all day, but you know what you're going to keep finding? You're going to keep finding this view, and you're going to keep finding the back view. What you never ever see is the other side of this building. And I was started getting very, very frustrated about that. Like, I could not find any information, like concrete information that tells me what is going on the other side of the building, especially on this corner here. So I decided to actually go into the movie and watch the movie and find every picture I could of Stark Tower and take photographic reference material of it, because I want to try and make this as accurate as possible. So let's back out of this folder here, and we're going to go to this image right here first. This is the first time we see Stark Tower, and this is at the beginning of the movie, and Tony Stark is actually talking to Pepper Potts within his Iron Man suit. He's just come out of the water. He's flying up to Stark Tower. He just put the clamp on the power thing to take the building off the grid. And this is a holographic image represented inside his helmet that shows us the structure of the Stark Tower. Now, the one thing that comes out, that stands out to me, the very first thing I see this image is, what is this down here? This is not represented in any build I've ever seen of Stark Tower. It's not represented in any artist rendering. It's not represented in anything you ever see of Stark Tower. So what is this? Everything you ever see is right here, built upwards. So I needed to find out what this was. So as I started digging through the movie, there's a scene where Iron Man is flying back to Stark Tower, and he's about to go flying up, I think, to face Loki, and you get this image right here. Now look, this is that bottom piece. And right here in this image, I think I counted between 12 and 16 floors of building. So yes, Stark Tower is this as well. This base, I think it's an 8-sided, it's octagon, I believe. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, so 8-sided, this octagon-shaped building that's, and it's not a perfect octagon, but it's 8-sided, sits as a base for Stark Tower to sit upon. So this building here is something that needs to be a part of Stark Tower. Can I get a better image of that? I think I can. Let's see. I think I have one. Where are you, Mr. Stark Tower? Maybe I didn't. Maybe I didn't catch a better image of that. If I did, is this it maybe? No. No. Okay. So, but that's I know there's another image that I caught later on, but this is important. Now, here's the thing. If we do this in the Diamond Society, this is going to be about 16 stories of base plus another, I think it was like 16 stories of Stark Tower, just until you get to where this diagonal piece meets the apron. So I think in total it's 24 stories. That's going to be a ridiculously tall building. So I think for our build, we're going to make this base probably 3 to 5 stories, just to kind of give the feel of the base structure, and we'll put it on top, because I'm afraid we're going to run out of build limit, but we'll see. We'll start counting blocks out when we start lining it up. So let's start looking at some other things about Stark Tower. So we already talked about the back. Now here's another shot in the movie. We see that back part. This looks really similar to the image I just showed you, but this gives us a really good idea of what materials we're working with. So now I started thinking, okay, good. Now I've got one side, I've got the back. I need to get that other side. So where's that other side? And there's an image. This is a terrible, terrible image, but Tony Stark is flying. I think this is the news camera showing right after Tony put the missile up into the portal. And this is the other side of that building. Now, it's really, really terrible. This is a cell phone picture of my television zoomed extremely far in. But here, we can see that there was, if you watch it on TV, it's more high resolution, but you could see there's stripes, the apron comes around. We also have this big brown, like pillar, support pillar, and then this glass, and then another brown support pillar. So okay, maybe this is that glass that kind of convexes around that corner that we see all the time. So this piece here is a lot like every build you see, only we need to make more prominent this brown edge here that exists in the actual structure of the building. So let's look at that convex glass. Now, I searched and searched for moments in the movie where I could see that convex glass, and I found this image here, which shows me, and it's probably really dark to see, but look, you could see that glass right here, but it starts to sliver out, and you could see right here where these two pieces of support beam, the brown one here and the brown one here, actually come together into a point and become one piece. So that convex glass does not exist all the way down to the ground. It actually starts as a sliver and gets bigger and bigger and bigger as you work your way up to the top of the tower. Very interesting. Very interesting indeed. I think I have a better shot of that represented here. This is when Tony Stark, I believe, is jumping off of the building, and he's summoned the Iron Man suit that's going to fly and kind of wrap around him as he's falling. Maybe he was thrown out of the window by Loki. I can't remember what's happening. But this shows us right down the build. This is the concave piece of the building, and here is that part that I'm talking about. That convex window that we see in every single build is not a convex window at all. It's actually just a flat piece that actually slivers out into nothing and becomes one support structure at the base. So very, very interesting to keep in mind. This is going to be very difficult to pull off in a Minecraft build, to sliver this window all the way up the side of the building. But now look at this other side. The other side that we saw that flattened out does indeed flatten out, but I think it almost comes back out, almost like the back of the building did. And you can see there's a support beam right here. This image can also be supported by when Tony Stark first puts the building off the grid. Now he's flying up to have the machines take the suit off of him. And right here we see this is inside that convex. We're right about the platform where he's going to land on. We're looking down and we can see this very prominent support beam, this outer support beam, and this wall of glass here. Very interesting angle. Looks like there's a lot of twisting going on, but I think it's just because of the angle the camera is looking down the building. But we do see that this is kind of a separate thing from this piece here. So this beam needs to come in, this beam, and then this glass is kind of a separate thing, perhaps flaring out. I think we're going to make it flare out like the back of the building, because I think that's what's happening there. So, ooh, man, all this revelation about what this building looks like. Now check this out. This is one of the coolest parts that I think I found. So here's our far and away view of Stark Tower. But once we actually get into right when this dude, that huge bug beetle flying contraption thing comes out of space, it swoops down Stark Tower and it starts headed towards our heroes. Now, this is that side of the building where everybody does the horizontal stripes. We could see it's not horizontal stripes. It's actually a glass face. But look at this. Our apron that hangs over the building, our vertical stripes, actually flares out right here at the base. So it's almost like I described before, a cape that's kind of coming down the building, and then it's like laying out on the octagon shaped building, like flaring out in a cape type of thing. So that's going to be a really cool addition. And here we see that beam that's on the front side of the building, but look how big this thing is at the base. Like at the base of the building, this thing is gigantic, and then it starts to taper out, and then it heads up our building. So you can see this is definitely straight up and down, straight vertical. So this flare is quite wide, and then we start to go diagonal. So yeah, very excited about these discoveries and these findings. So maybe, if anything, hopefully today you learned a little bit about Stark Tower. And yeah, let's get back into Diamond Society and talk about our way forward. All right, so hopefully that was interesting and not too talky for you, and you learned a little bit about Stark Tower and some of the intricacies that are actually involved. And hopefully you paid kind of close attention and note at all the different colors that were in that building, because BC gonna do it all, man. And that's what our big collection of materials is for down there. Is we're gonna try and get the best representation of that building we possibly can. But yeah, so let's look back here at the game spaces design and thinking about everything we just talked about. Let's talk about how this is going to fundamentally change. So one, it's going to be sitting on that base, that eight-sided building, and probably over the next couple weeks while I'm away on vacation in California at Minecon, I'm probably going to just start building that off camera, because I've got the materials. It's just a pretty basic office building. Of course, I'm going to build it in layers. We're going to use some different materials, some different colors, probably some bones, maybe some quartz, some diorite, probably white wool. And that way we could build shadow within the building, so it's not just a flat surface with glass in it. And we'll probably just get that base set. We can't build all 16 stories, because if we did, we're going to hit build limit pretty quick. I mean, the Diamond Hotel is probably 16 stories right about here. So if we did that, we are going to run out of space, because the Space Needle at its tallest point is at build limit. And, thanks to LawCorp CEO. And we definitely don't want to run out of building space. So we're probably going to make that probably, I would say, 3 stories tall, just to give a representation of that base structure. But we're not going to be able to build it to scale, unfortunately, because I just don't think we have the room. But yeah, looking at this design here and thinking about the things that we know that this is going to start out as one structure that will eventually split as it goes up. This will be that concave glass wall. This will actually be split into 2 areas, or this will be an area, this will be an area, and this, I think, is going to actually come forward. It's going to lean forward a little bit with 2 distinct beams that follow its way all the way up. This will be a giant beam that will end up traversing up, and this flat side here, instead of our horizontal stripes, will end up being the exact same design as the office space building that is down around below. We know that around the back, this will be an open area, more office space type opening building that's going to be 3-sided in nature, and it'll have like the cape effect that'll be draping over this side and this far side that will be swooping out on top of that 8-sided building. And this side we know is generally flat, again with that beam that's chasing up the side. So yeah, great. The structure, the layout, we've got it nailed. We've got that fundamental design that we need. Now it's just a matter of coming in with those other little architectural pieces to kind of really set this off. And these stripes, although if you did also pay close attention to the pictures, they are not all on the same levels. The dark is actually behind the light. The light is almost like forward, almost like shields over a plate of glass in some areas, what it appears to be. So the dark is actually glass windows. So we're going to work that out as well. It's going to be pretty phenomenal, pretty awesome. Again, I got a lot of awesome materials down here that we're going to be working with. And the point is, this building probably won't be flushed out full inside and out. Well, inside, I should say, into a, big, luxurious office building, but on the outside it's going to look legit, because that's how BC do. Anyway, a little bit of a different episode. Hopefully you enjoyed, and also just know that another special episode is right on the heels of this one. You're going to be seeing this probably Saturday, Sunday, if you watch it the day it comes out. And stay tuned, because probably Thursday, maybe even Friday, just a day or 2 before Minecon, a special video will be released. And if you miss that one, rest assured, Amici, I will be stalking you at Minecon, and you'll have no idea. It's me right behind you all the time. So it behooves you to check it out. Otherwise, you may miss me in a crowd. But I won't miss you, because I know what you look like, DS members, and I'm going to find you. So anyway, can't wait to see you in person. Until next time, ciao a tutti, and aloha. Bye-bye.